My three uncles and I came to Flint from Cleveland. We didn't know anyone but the man she married, my grandfather Mitchell. We searched for churches and before we found Vermont Christian Church. That church became our family. If you're here from Vermont Christian today, would you please stand up? I'd like to acknowledge and thank you for being who you are and what you were. I thank God for you. My name is Princess Clark-Wendel. I'm the eldest granddaughter of Emma Daisy Walters Wiggins Lewis. I'm also her daughter. When we came to Flint, people didn't even know I had a mother. They called my grandmother Miss Wiggins. Like my grandmother, I was a fighter, and I rebelled against having a grandmother who would take me to school and nurture me. I wanted my mom. But my mom, in all her wisdom, knew what was best for me, and that was that woman, that warrior, that queen. She was best for all of us. Recently, my daughters and I went to New York and we saw a play called Wicked. In the play, there's a song, and it said, I've heard it said, people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow, if we let them, and we help them in return. The song continues and says, well, I don't know if I believe if that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes through the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I've been changed for the good. We've been changed for the good because we knew Emma Daisy Walters Wiggins Lewis. There's so many words that I could use to describe my grandmother. There's so much I can say about her. For years, I followed her, stood beside her, was mentored by her, heard stories from her about her life and travels. Like, my prayers used to be, oh God, don't take my grandmother, because that's the only love that I truly knew that would never leave me, nor forsake me until she showed me who God was. And once she showed me who God was, through her being who she was, I knew that anything was possible. My grandmother and I, she loved reading and writing. Many people didn't know that, and she also could help me with my poems. If you ever got her angry, she'd show you how well she used words. We wrote lots of poems together. Some would be published, and others we just kept to ourselves. One of them was Impossibilities. That we serve a God of impossibilities. He makes what's impossible possible for me. And we sing those words together. And, I didn't believe a lot of that when I was young. And if anyone knows me, Pastor Cortez, who used to go to school all the time, I would just rebel. I was just a bad kid. And those things that she taught me about God and what's possible, She believed in me, and that belief changed who I was and who my uncles were as well, because she believed in all of us, put everything, sacrificed everything for us. There was never a day when you come home from school there was not a hot meal, real hot meal cooking in the oven, ready for us after school. There was never a time someone would call in about one of us and say, Miss Lewis or Miss Wiggins, so-and-so, we got a problem, or so-and-so is sick, and she wouldn't come running. And for years when we lived here, she didn't even drive. We would either walk or catch the bus. That's who she was, always giving to her family. If you knew her, you knew what her love was like. She was faithful to her friends and her family. One of her friends, Mr. Todd, who was our next door neighbor when we first moved here, was an epitome of her love and what taught me what friendship was all about. They would do everything together, and along with their sisters, they take the annual trips. And I enjoyed just watching. I was like, gosh, I wish I had a sister and a good friend that I could take trips for, because Grandma loved doing that. And I want to thank Miss Todd for being who she was for my grandma as well. So as I stand here, we were honoring her life. I talked to Grandma about this. She's like, well, what will you say about me? I said, well, what would you want me to say? She's like, oh, just tell all the good stuff. I said, everything is good. And she said, well, why do you say that? I said, what did you tell me, Grandma? You said all things work together for good. So I said, I would ask people, how did they know you? What did you remember most about our mother, my grandmother? Was it her big bear hugs that she'd wrap her arms around you and almost smother you? Was it if you called her on the phone, she talked so much and so much, you think, oh my God, I'm still on the phone with her. But it would seem like minutes after you hung up. Was it her going garage selling? That's something she loves to do. Or telling she's going fishing. Or telling you a story about her children. She loved to talk about her children. Nonstop. I'll miss her smile. It lit up the room and the presence of my life. I also will miss the way she loved people. Unselfishly, giving and loving without expecting anything back. And I told her, I said, Grandma, you know what I figured out in my work? That I used to think that I teach financial services, and I think if you hold on to something, you get to keep it. And it's like, you don't do that. If you hold on to something, you don't keep it. It's in letting go. It's in loving. It's in giving of yourself, is that you receive. That's what my grandmother did. She let herself go to help others, to a fault, I would think. And she says, no, I can do it, I can do it. As long as she could, she would try to help people, try to love people, try to be there for people. And that's what it is. She told me, she's like, you hold something so tight, you crush it. I was like, you know what, that's true. And when I started teaching financial planning to people, I was like, you know what, if I have a $100 bill in my hand, I can crush it and hold on to it, I destroy it. But if I let it go, like if I give a tie, I return it. Or if I give something to somebody, they return that love back because they remember that. That's how people remember my grandmother. I was just saying, my grandmother never met a stranger who wasn't a friend. She made friends everywhere she went. She was also a woman, a wise woman of deep thought and conviction. I said, Grandma, if you had been born in another time, you could be doing my job. And she's like, oh, now I could be doing your job, she would tell me. Because we traveled, I was awarded as one of the most influential women, business women in Chicago. She's like, Princess, I never got a chance to see and do something. I was like, you know what, you could. Because she was smarter than me, stronger than me. She was a good person. I wasn't always so good, because I rebelled. And she taught me everything I knew in kindergarten. I remember in first grade, she was tutoring me, and then she says, well, I don't need to tutor you, come to Stewart School and tutor you. I'm going to tutor some more kids. And I just had a temper tantrum. Like, oh no, not my grandmother, you can't do this, and you can't, tutor other kids. But she did. She started to tutor them. They called her grandma. And what I realized that she had the capability to not only love me, but to love others. And that didn't hurt me at all. I also saw how much she was willing to give and to grow to others. So she also wanted me to tell you, when we talked, she told me, she's like, well, tell them that, I was a nurse. And she loved caring for people and nursing people. I was like, oh, Grandma, I know that. I was like, you always nursed everyone. She's like, well, let them know that, because they always think I was just a mother taking care of you guys. Well, she had a job, and she was a nurse, and she was trained as a nurse. And she wanted you guys to know that. She also loved fishing and cooking and singing, as my uncle said. And I guess most of all, she wanted you to know that she loved people and that she loved you. My uncles were with her when I called her in the nursing home. She was going on. And James said, Princess on the phone, talk to her. And she says, got on the phone for a second and was clear as days. And she said, Princess, I'm done. I'm done. I never wanted to hear her say it, but it was so clear that she said it was finished, and I believe she had lived her purpose. And so I knew that it was then I had to let her go, that I couldn't be selfish. But I remembered her lesson, that love is letting go, that she wanted to be at peace. And it will hurt us, especially me. Because she was my everything. And like I said, my prayer was us, we would die together. So I couldn't bear it, but she taught me how to bear it. And as I stand here, and as being the first granddaughter for so long, she was so proud to have the other grandchildren. If my other cousins, my grandmothers, could you please stand up? Because she loved you guys so much. And I wish you had known her, Tony, Miranda, Brennan. Can you please stand? This is her legacy. And great-grandchildren, this is the family that she built. And great-grandchildren, my children, can stand up. She was so proud that she would be able to have a piece, leave a piece of herself. And it is my hope and prayer that we follow in her tradition and do something good, not expecting anything back, because it'll come back in spades. It'll come back in spades. And she also was serving the usher boards and the choirs, and she also wanted me to let you know that it's well. And we talked about her boys and how much she loved them. It was this big thing about, oh, you coming to live with me. No, I'm staying with my boys. No, you coming to live with me. Like, you move, you travel too much. She loved my uncle so much. She wanted to be with them. And I understood that. I think she wanted to be with them as much as I wanted to be with her when I was a child. And I got that. But I always felt like she should be with me, kind of selfish. Again, I was a bad kid, still got it in me a little bit. But I think all things work together for good. I truly believe that. This was her time. She lived the life she wanted to live. And she left this life how she wanted to live on her terms. I think that's how all of us should go. I have a proclamation here from Everlasting Baptist Church in Cleveland. Grandma ushered there. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him will I trust." Today we rejoice because God has called one of His servants from the toils and labors of this life. Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. God blessed your loved one with many pleasant years, and she shared her love and life's great experiences with her family, friends, and others. The smiles, caring nature, and laughter of your dear one will be missed by all who knew and loved her. Pastor DeWitt Chappelle Jr. in the Everlasting Baptist Church, the church family of Deacon Richard Clater and Deaconess Margaret Clater, are confident that the entire Lewis family will hold the many precious memories of God's servant in high esteem. We will continue to share our love with you and commend you to God, the great Comforter. We are confident that God will continue to shower you with His love, His peace, His strength, and grace. God's grace is sufficient. Another thing she wanted me to talk about was her love for her sisters and her brother. And she would always say, "Oh, I wish we wanted sisters like her." She was like, "Yeah, my sisters were sort of my friends. Sometimes I want to be with them, sometimes with them, but I love them a lot." She's like, "Princess, you don't know what it's like having sisters you can call on. And that's what you were to my grandmother, and I thank you for that. And my uncles." I'd say, "Grandma, well, let's write a letter." Oh, it's like, it's a few months ago. So let's write a letter to your sisters. She didn't have the strength to do that. And so what would you say? She was so tired. And I would just keep on, my uncles was there, I was like, keep on fighting, keep fighting. And she was just tired of fighting. And I knew when she couldn't write or couldn't help me with something, words to say, that it was enough. And she was just done, as she said. And she loved all of you. And I'm so grateful. I think she was changed for good because of who all of you are. And that in turn makes us, all of us, change for the better, for the good. God bless you all. And may the love of my grandmother's life light up your world as you love one another in the days and years ahead.